Premier, after the horrific 2019-20 bushfires, you stood with me at a media conference in Bairnsdale and said you would walk with East Gippsland in every step of the fire recovery. You probably recall that conference. Will you now intervene and ensure the Thurrow River Bridge construction, which is so critical to our tourism industry in East Gippsland, is fast-tracked and not left to languish until 6 years after the fires, which is the current timeframe?
Call the Premier.
Thank you very much, Speaker. And I thank the honourable member for Gippsland East for his question. And I do remember that media engagement. I do remember that media engagement. And I do remember. Well, we'll leave the politics to others while we answer a serious question from the member for Gippsland East, shall we? Shall we do that? That'd be a good thing. We'll let others interject while we deal with someone who's actually standing up for his local community. I do remember the media engagement. It's not often that I do press conferences with members of the opposition. But the thing about it was, and I make this point in all sincerity, the member for Gippsland East in that time, the most difficult of times, was not so much a member of the opposition as he was a champion for his local community. Exactly. And I think that there's been correspondence, more than one text message over the journey, where I have communicated with him, he's communicated with me, my staff as well, and we have, whenever we've been able to find that common ground and put the public interest ahead of any political interest, I think we have done well. We wouldn't always agree on things, some notable policy changes of recent times, and I don't begrudge the member for Gippsland East a very different point of view than mine. On the issue of the bridge that he cites, I'm not briefed on that matter. However, as I have done in the past, I will give to the member an undertaking that after question time I will ask the relevant question and I will come back to him personally in relation to that project. We pride ourselves, I think, as a parliament, not just one political party or another. I think all of us pride ourselves, certainly members of the National Party and myself, members of the National Party and members of the government, pride ourselves on putting aside our differences when things are really difficult. And those Black Summer bushfires and other fire events and flood events have been the most challenging of times. And I think all of us have been better servants of the community we serve. We've been better at these roles, these privileged and special positions that we hold because of that. I can't give you the answer you want right now because it wouldn't mean much until I go and ask the question, get the briefing, and I'll be happy to come back to you personally and give you an idea of what the government's intentions are. This is not remarkable. I'm not seeking credit for the fact that we put politics aside in times of disaster. That's exactly what you should do. It's exactly what you should do. And I'd like to think that if we are called upon in the most difficult of times in the future to do similar work, well, from our point of view and for my part, that's the approach we will always take.
Yeah. Member for Gippsland East on a supplementary question.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Premier, 3.5 years after the fires, in addition to the Thurrow River Bridge, no works have begun to rebuild the Cape Conran cabins, which are important for our tourism, the Cape Conran Boardwalk, which is very, very popular with all visitors to our area, that's at a standstill. Jetties burnt around Malakuta Inlet are not rebuilt, and many other areas remain closed. The timeframes around these are disgraceful in relation to their completion. Will you cut through this bureaucratic red tape and please assist with getting on and rebuilding this important East Gippsland tourism infrastructure before this summer holiday period arrives?
Premier.
Whilst I'm not in a position to commit to summer, which is not that far away, I can, and the answer to the first part of your question is, will I do whatever I can to cut through that red tape? The answer is yes. But let me get further advice on that. When it comes to those important projects, we want to see them completed. We want to see as many local jobs secured because of those works. And we want to see that local economy, that beautiful, pristine part of our state, open for business and for everyone who wants to go there, whether they be from our state or from interstate. And I'll particularly single out anyone from South Australia who wants to go and visit there. You'd be most welcome. You'd be most welcome. The other point that I would make, though, let me get the briefing, let me get the information for you, member for Gippsland East. But we have had an event in the intervening period, a global pandemic, which may well have influenced whether things could get built and tendered and all of that. Let me get to the bottom of what's happened and I'll come back to you personally.